are listening to Voice of the Fans Sportscast, brought to you by none other than the voices of the fans.
Oh, Canada.
For Tuesday, what's the date today? 10th of March. I'm Randy Coure. This is Voice of the Fans Canada. Hope all is well. We are live on YouTube at VOF Canada. Be sure to like our social media at VOF Canada, which includes Instagram, X, Threads, TikTok, and of course, as well as YouTube. Tonight, we will dive into the happenings that took place in the NHL Trade Deadline. The World Baseball Classic is in its 6th edition, and it appears to be growing with more and more stars from Major League Baseball. We will take a look at hockey when we dive into Straight Facts, Bro Relax, and we will begin tonight's show with some Olympic puck, where the United States captured gold in both the men's and women's tournaments. As he is here on most nights, Tony Antoniou is here rocking some Penguins gear. Tony, how are you?
Yeah, they need all the help they can get from me. So I've got something on and you don't, which is shocking.
It is a rare experience with it is a rare experience.
My Penguins are going through a gauntlet this week, and they're shorthanded in terms of personnel. Crosby and Malkin out, and Brazo's hurt, so every little bit of help. I've even got the Bible here beside me. Look, whatever helps, guys.
Well, I don't know how many verses you are dedicating to those Penguins, but it has been quite a year regardless. Hopefully they could keep it up. And hey, joining us from south of our border, he is the host of Foursquare Sports. Give our fans at Foursquare Sports a like at the number 4 SQ Sports. And a man that I owe a great apology to from Houston, Texas, Kevin Zeliskovics is back once again. Kevin, I'm sorry.
It's all good.
What had happened was, Tony, I had told Kevin that the podcast was on Monday. And then we rescheduled it to Tuesday, and I forgot to tell Kevin that. And he had said, "Hey, do we have a podcast tonight?" And I was like, "Oh no, I had rescheduled it." And luckily, Kevin was able to join us tonight. So, Kevin, rocking the red, black, and white of the New Jersey Devils, specifically Jack Hughes. That must feel oh so smooth on your silky skin right now.
Oh yeah, dude. I was so happy when that happened, to see my guy Jack Hughes in overtime. And like, if you've watched all the Devils games, you would know that pretty much over half of their games either don't finish in regulation or go into overtime. And Jack Hughes is really good in overtime situations. So I was actually surprised that Team USA actually put him in. I didn't think he was going to score the game-winning goal. I thought it was going to be someone else, maybe like Auston Matthews. Maybe he gets a chance at redemption. I thought that at the time, but after seeing him get that, I thought that was so cool. And see them doing it so quickly too, I thought was really interesting. And I know that I think the last time that we talked about it, I think the last show I was on, I don't like the 3v3 overtime rules in the Olympics. I think it's very it's kind of a cop-out in a sense. I like to see the full 5-on-5, best on best. And for the whole, I would have loved to see another whole period of both USA and the Canadian men's hockey teams, because I thought 5-on-5, neck and neck, they were bringing it down to the end 5-on-5 until it went to overtime. And now I can understand if you want to do 3v3 for, like the preliminary rounds. I guess maybe but not the knockout rounds. I would say knockout rounds, and especially if a gold medal's on the line. I would have loved to see a full 5v5 period to see who really wants it more, as opposed to 3v3, because 3v3 was basically designed to speed up the game of hockey, and like it provides more space for the players. And like as soon as Jack Hughes got that steal and got that breakaway, it was a one Werenski pass later, and then Jack Hughes didn't miss the net. So, and that's why it ended as quickly as it did. So I'm obviously I'm not mad at the results, but I am of the mindset that I do think that 3v3 was not the best call.
So ironic, because I'm pretty mad at the result for obvious reasons. But Tony, Tony, obviously Kevin covered a lot with regards to his thoughts on overtime, and I assume that you have the same sentiment with regards to what took place in the Olympics. Not only the Czechia game where Mitch Marner scored the overtime goal. Nobody was complaining about 3-on-3 in overtime in our country. But I'm guessing that you have Kevin's thoughts with regards to overtime. First of all, is there a chance that you by chance liked it? And do you think that they may take a look at that for the next Olympics in 2030?
First of all, there's a bombshell update. If you're an NFL fan, the Baltimore Ravens have apparently backed out of the blockbuster trade, where the Max Crosby trade. Apparently they backed out. So Max Crosby is back on the market. There's more to come with that, but I needed to throw that in. Sorry, guys, I just got it on.
Please. Look at you, the insider, Tony.
I was going to say, because I know we were discussing hockey over here, but that happened just as we started recording, so I couldn't even believe that. He must have failed his physical or something. That's insane.
Perhaps that, or maybe it wasn't written off and the Ravens realized 2 first-round picks isn't worth it. I have no idea, but I can't wait to get into more information.
That's crazy.
Back to the hockey. I'm not going to do that. It is what it is. The rules are what they are. Everybody's playing 3-on-3. And so that doesn't bother me at all. In fact, I prefer it ending quicker than having it go on forever anyway. So I think the 3-on-3 is cool. You see the skill part of it. But I do think they'll discuss it. I think there'll definitely be a discussion for the next Olympics. If it's best on best, they might go back to that. Even 4-on-4 I'd be cool with. But no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to cry or anything like that. It is what it is. Both teams had to play it. And the U.S. took advantage of a couple of costly errors at the worst time by our best players representing our country on the ice at that moment. And that's how it works.
Mm-hmm.
No, that is definitely how it works. I personally don't mind 3-on-3 at all during the preliminaries, like Kevin said, and maybe 4-on-4 during the knockout stage. But when it comes to the gold medal game and the bronze medal game, yeah, I say go 5-on-5. That's where the hardware is, and it's the last game of each respective tournament. But hey, the Americans won fair and square, goes without saying. The women's tournament, there was no surprise. I guess there was a little bit of a surprise towards the gold medal game where Canada had made it a lot closer. My sister went to the 5-0 preliminary game with her nephew, with my nephew, her son. It was a great experience for them, but obviously Canada came out on the short end of the stick. And we will talk a little hockey in a minute. But, Kevin, forgive me because I don't know what the temperature these days is like in Houston, where you are currently. And I'm assuming that it has been rather comfortable over the past, dare I say, month, 6 weeks. Maybe I'm wrong, but it has been quite a winter for Tony and myself. However, there has been a little bit of reprieve, and there has been a little bit of some warmer weather. Tony, I think it got up to around 18 degrees Celsius, which is give or take mid to high 60s, I want to say. And, ironically enough, Tony and I, Tony, you're going to the home opener, TFC home opener on Saturday?
Yes.
Yes, perfect. I'll see
Which
you
is
there. And
it's slated for 0 degrees that day, of course.
yes, of course it is. 32 degrees Fahrenheit, and I think there's going to be some snow. Isn't that right, Tony?
Friday, maybe? And I think we're clear of it on. That's the thing. They don't know if it's snow or rain yet. They haven't figured it out.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
course.
it's not going to
That's the way
be
it
as yeah, that's how it works. And of course, it's not going to be as balmy as it has been past couple of days. But Tony, have you and Kevin? Well, we'll start with Tony. Did you take advantage of the warm weather? Did you manage to go for a long walk? Did you do something where you would normally take your car or head out to do some strolling around with your family?
I was battling a hangover on Saturday, believe it or not.
What was the occasion?
There wasn't one, which is why it was crazy. But I decided to mix a bottle of red wine with the tequila shots we were having on the Friday night, and didn't work out for me the next day. I was like, what the fuck's going on here? What am I, 20 years old? But that's it. But no, there was a couple of teenage girl soccer games throughout the day Saturday, so we did have to leave the house for that to watch the young ladies play their games. But other than that, no, it was pretty chill. It was nice. I mean, I'm always out for a walk. We have a dog, so we absolutely took advantage of it. But no, it was just a strange hangover, which I haven't had in years. Well, I guess it's not that strange. When you're throwing a bottle of wine in with tequila, it's there's your answer.
Yeah. Okay. Good for you. Good for you. Hey, it's good to test out the old liver every now and then, and chances are, hey, and I'm glad I did, and hopefully we could lift a glass on Saturday.
For
hey,
sure.
Kevin, how about you? Yeah, Kevin, how about you? Like, was it that much warmer over your neck of the woods? Like, is it fair to say that Houston, the temperature is give or take 50s, 60s? Is it warmer? Was it that much warmer this past weekend? Are you a golfer per se? Do you take the sticks out and head over to the links? Like, for two guys like Tony and myself, we just cannot wait for the warm weather to come.
Actually, oddly enough, I was on vacation this past weekend, so I went to the New York and New Jersey area, and it wasn't warm weather, I can tell you that. So I did not partake in the warm weather. It was rather cold, like in the 40s, 30s. It was snowing in New Jersey. I went to visit my aunt, my grandma, and I got to visit one of our friends who we have had on the show. I got to meet Matt Sirianni himself in person. We had a great time. So
was that for the first time?
First time, yeah. I got to see him.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. Is one person significantly shorter than the other or taller than the other? Like,
I'm definitely taller than Matt. He's definitely the height I pictured him.
Okay, fair enough. Good stuff. No, that's great. Hopefully, to get to a point in time where all of us could get together and
absolutely.
I don't know about tequila and wine in the same shot, but hopefully we could have a beer or
no wine,
some sort of. Yeah, well, I don't know if we're civilized enough for wine per se, but yeah. Great to hear. So getting back to those Olympics, let's. I think it's worth talking about once again because hey, it was such a special time for Devils fans, for American fans. I mean, it was 46 years when the U.S. captured Olympic gold, and it's the man who Kevin has emblazoned on his back, Jack Hughes, and that it alone, you're gonna have to stand up a little bit, Kevin, and we can't really see it. Yeah, you're gonna have to lift yourself up. And now, of course, your screen is frozen. There it is. There it is. Okay, let's. We're gonna have to do a screen capture. Yeah, we're gonna have to do a screen capture of that beautiful tarp. So, the fact that your country won the gold, let alone a player that you spent a couple $100 for his jersey. I mean, that must have been such a bonus for you and for Devils fans when USA captured men's gold.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was like I said earlier in the show. I thought it was awesome. Awesome that USA won first off, but to see my guy Jack Hughes get that game-winning goal in overtime, like I said, I think was just awesome. It did kind of stink that it was like early in the morning. I was kind of like just waking up whenever like that match started. Because they had it at 9 a.m. Eastern, and so in Houston, it's 8 a.m. in the morning when that match started. So I kind of only watched it. I missed a little bit of the first period, but I watched the rest of the game. So, and the ending was just the cherry on top, in my opinion. And like I said, I thought that USA and Canada, I thought were like evenly matched, even though I know some people were saying like, oh, Canada's clearly better. Oh, USA is clearly better, depending on what side you want to go with it. In my opinion, I thought like this is not going to be like a blowout win by any means. It's not going to be a high scoring game. I thought it was going to be like a low scoring defensive battle, and I was correct. I said it's probably going to come down to goaltending, and it's just like who wants it more, Connor Hellebuyck or Jordan Binnington. Jordan Binnington, as we know, thrives in situations like these, best on best tournaments, and Connor Hellebuyck. It does good in these situations too. Of course, Four Nations face-off. Binnington was the victor, but this time it was Connor Hellebuyck, and he played a fantastic tournament. Connor Hellebuyck is probably the biggest reason why USA even won that game. I'm going to be completely honest. But I think that the USA is – you got to give credit to their penalty killing unit. Their penalty killing unit stopped was 100%. This entire tournament, even in that game against Canada. So I thought like they did a fantastic job. I also think that Canada had so much chances to win this game. I can think of probably 5 instances where Canada either could have scored or definitely should have scored. One was the Connor McDavid breakaway, a great save by Hellebuyck. Another one was the Macklin Celebrini breakaway. Again, just a great save by Hellebuyck. The third one was the 5-on-3 penalty or power play for Canada. There's a great penalty killing unit by the USA. The fourth time was the that Taves wide open net, and that's probably the best save you're going to see in hockey. Like Connor off the blade of Connor Hellebuyck's stick, just redirecting enough to get it out of the net. That was a wide open goal. And then probably the clearest goal of all was that Nathan MacKinnon one. Wide open net, just missed it for whatever reason. Hellebuyck never saw him coming, and MacKinnon just straight up missed the net. So that's 5 chances that Canada had to either could have scored or definitely should have scored. So they had every opportunity to cash in there, and unfortunately, they just didn't. It is what it is. But USA, made the timely stop plays on defense, and of course, the timely goal by Jack Hughes in overtime. And like I thought, like tooth and nail. I think like Canada and the USA for that matter, they're only going to get better as the more best on best tournaments go on.
Well, for sure. And you're absolutely right. I mean, USA fluked themselves. And no, I'm kidding, of course. But it's just, it was just such a great moment. And obviously I was so salty and bitter when Canada lost. And, but that completely went away when Werenski and I think Dylan Larkin brought Johnny Gaudreau's kids. And Noah Gaudreau with the big smile on her face, that it just completely melted my heart. I mean the fact that I think a lot of hockey fans, Canadian fans especially, were really thrilled that they won that gold medal for Johnny Gaudreau. And talking baseball, thank you so much for the comments. First of all, he did say red, white, and Hughes, and then they caught my reel after Canada lost. And sorry, is that Matt Sirianni? I can't remember. But talking baseball, thank you so much for but well, and actually Tony, to loop you back in for a second, I mean, obviously Jack Hughes is a big Kevin is a big fan of Jack Hughes, and I mean, you went through the same thing when Sidney Crosby scored the golden goal in 2010. I mean, you could certainly appreciate what Kevin was feeling there a couple weeks ago.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I still live that moment in my head back in 2010, and it's that's why these tournaments are so great, because you see great players do great things in the greatest of moments, and it forever changes their lives, I think. And Jack Hughes hasn't had a ton of success, with the Devils thus far in terms of playoff success and what have you. I mean, Sid had been a Stanley Cup champion going into that, but this could be his moment, right? This could be the moment that turns things around for him, for the franchise. Just a better feeling overall. I mean, obviously he's got to stay healthy as far as the NHL is concerned, but yeah, these moments can really change a player's career. And everything I've seen from Hughes post Olympics has been pretty cool. I think people tend to forget that the majority of the hockey that he learned in his career was right here. He is an American citizen. Yes, his parents are American, but he basically learned the game here in Canada. But
where did he play his OHL hockey?
He didn't play in the OHL, but he lived actually out here in Mississauga.
Oh, did he really? I didn't know that.
He spent a lot of time in the GTHL. Played some years there as well before he went to the U.S. development. So his first exposure, I believe his father worked for the Leafs, which is why he was here. I believe his dad was a scout for the Leafs at some point, and that's how he ended up here living. But that's neither here nor there. I digress.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding around, but hopefully it turned. I mean, it's already turned good for him having Tate McRae as a girlfriend. So right off the bat there, he's doing good. He's doing.
I was gonna mention that. I mean, Tate McRae is old enough to be my daughter, but man, that child is serious right there. But no, good for. I wonder if the missing tooth is a turn on for Tate. I mean, some people could have some weird kinks. Anyway,
he's got some extra motivation now, Jack.
yeah, I'm sure he's going to have a couple more bucks with endorsements, and yeah, absolutely. Kevin, obviously, you between the three of us haven't really seen this level of hockey compared to me and Tony. I mean, Tony and I, we remember very vividly. I mean, of course, you did. Maybe you did too, to a degree, with the 2014 Sochi Olympics, maybe Vancouver 2010. But Tony and I remember as far back as 1998 and the Canada Cups and World Cups before that. Because this was a somewhat rare experience. I mean, it has been 12 years since Sochi, and the Four Nations face-off was like a makeshift event that did involve pro talent for the first time, true pro talent. How much more excited was the Olympic tournament for you compared to Four Nations? Or was it the same because there was no Russia?
No, I think the excitement level was definitely a little bit higher than the Four Nations, simply because of the fact that I did enjoy more than just four nations competing, more than just the USA, Canada, Finland, and Sweden. I thought that Slovakia had themselves a great Olympics. Like, they surprised a lot of people. I thought they were very fun to watch. Czechia as well. Like, I thought that they were playing a surprisingly good tournament as well. I would have loved to see what a team Russia would have done, because as we know, NHL has a plethora of great Russian players, and I would have loved to see a Russian team go in this type of tournament. Hopefully, like the Olympics like stop banning Russia because of like various reasons. Because I think that's definitely a big snub that this Olympic tournament could have definitely needed and used. I also think it was exciting because I feel like because of the Four Nations face-off, like you would want to see. Oh, I want to see USA and Canada versus each other again, like the rematch. See, the stakes get higher. A gold medal's on the line. You're playing for your country. There's other players that have been added, and some players that have got snubbed from both rosters. So the stakes were higher, and I definitely was more excited for this one more than the Four Nations tournament, because Four Nations tournament is in its infancy, and like Olympics have been around for the longest time, and I thought that this was the Four Nations face-off definitely prepared people who were tuned into that to experience the Olympic stage and like a higher stakes like tournament. So definitely the excitement level was definitely higher for me as opposed to Four Nations.
Yeah, Tony, compared to Four Nations, sure, it was great that NHL talent is playing international hockey, whether it is Olympics and World Cup, and we don't really need to so much get into that. But I did think that the U.S. really needed to capitalize on the tournament and win gold for the sake of the NHL. And the NHL did have USA and Canada in the gold medal game. It went into overtime. It resulted, of course, was a U.S. Overtime gold medal winning goal. This has to be exactly what the NHL is looking for to enhance the exposure of the game. Do you think that they're going to capitalize on this specifically? Because I thought, 1980, there didn't really seem to be any movement, even though the New York Islanders won, 4 cups in a row. 96, they won the World Cup of Hockey. Nothing happened there. But I don't know. Call me an optimist, but I think that there is a real chance that the NHL could really take advantage of what took place in Milan.
Well, I always hope for it because I always want to see hockey be bigger because I'm a hockey fan, through and through. And part of being a hockey fan for me is wanting to see more success in the United States. I've always, and it's had bumps here and there, but it's never taken off. And who knows if it ever will, like legitimately. And it's a culture thing. I get it. It's just people grew up not in love with the game or not, cultured with the game. However, here's my take. And as gutted as I was to see Canada lose the game, and of course I was gutted for them and gutted for the country. However, I thought it was a good thing that the United States won for that reason. I think what has helped is the undeniable patriotism by the players after they won. It was about the flag. It was about the country. And I think this time, the times that we're in right now, Kevin, you're American. I don't know if you can speak, you can speak on it. I don't want to put, but it just feels like there's not a lot of patriotism anymore. And it almost feels like it's a bad thing to be patriotic, whether it be in the US or even here in Canada. We talked about it on our last episode, is that for some reason, this part of the world, we have to hate ourselves for some reason. And these guys just came in and blew it up. Jack Hughes' post-game interview was epic because not once did he talk about himself and the goal he scored. He just kept saying how proud he was to be American. He kept talking about Hellebuck's performance, which was Dominic Hasek-like, circa 1998, no question about it. And I think that hit a core within the U.S. population. I'm not saying everybody, but it just felt like it was a good thing. And the Johnny Gaudreau thing, subsequently, Jack Hughes ended up on Pat McAfee. He was on Saturday Night Live with Quinn and one of the U.S. lady hockey players.
That acting though was brutal. I gotta say,
it doesn't matter.
You're running out for teleprompter. I thought they're all good.
I know Matthew Tkachuk appeared on the Megyn Kelly show about a week after, and he hit it out of the ballpark with his personality. They didn't let the scrutiny of going to the White House or going to the State of the Union address get to them. They stayed on course, and I think people fell in love with that. So hopefully it takes it is a little bump. I don't have confidence because I think we've seen this before. However, I think some of the guys definitely resonated with the population, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, Kevin, you're there, you're around, you have friends, you talk to people. I don't know what the outcome was after that win for you.
It was great. Every hockey friend that I've spoke to, every sports fan, even my sports friends that don't watch hockey, they tuned in to watch most of this tournament because I was hyping it up and dude, you got to watch USA and Canada play because both of them are going to be great. They're going to probably one of them's going to probably win it all. And I'm like, dude, you got to get up on Sunday. And all right, man. And they watched. I'm like, dude, I might get into hockey now because that was actually insane. So, and that's great. That's what you love to hear, for people that don't normally watch the sport. And like you alluded to, Tony, I thought it was a great thing, the patriotism and how the Johnny Gaudreau thing, and, all the players, showing up for all these, on media outlets. It grows the game of hockey, and that's exactly what you want, especially if you're not a casual hockey fan. And or if you're a veteran hockey watcher, like you and Randy, I think it's a great way to grow the game. And it's like you said, it's exactly what the NHL wants. And I'm sure there's going to be plenty more iterations of the Four Nations face-off. They might expand it to maybe 5 or 6. You never know. And then I think, like I said earlier, both the USA and Canada are going to be getting more players the next Olympics around to be even better. Canada is probably going to have Matthew Schaefer and Connor Bedard on that Olympic roster added. And USA, a couple of guys got snubbed. David Robertson wasn't there. Adam Fox wasn't there. Imagine if those guys were added, how bolstered, USA would become, and even Canada included. So yeah, absolutely. The pulse and vibe here, watching it, in the US, I thought was outstanding, especially after the outcome of the way it did. And I think the game of hockey is in good hands going forward. That's for sure.
Yeah, and Tony, you brought up a couple of points I'd love to challenge you on because the whole patriotism item, and I don't know if you were working the first game back for Auston Matthews. They acknowledged Ekman Larson. You were, and there was some boos for Auston Matthews, but really and truly,
there was more than some. What you're reading on social media to me was bullshit because I heard a lot.
I didn't read a thing. I'll tell you right now, I didn't read a thing. I just took it off of Sports Center. I don't go on Twitter and all that sort of thing. So
listening it to
could you hang tight.
Go on.
No, yeah. Was there more boos than cheers for Auston Matthews? That was my question.
Yes.
There was.
Okay. Being there live, from what I took of it, I mean, I think eventually they kind of gave a bit of an ovation, but while they were announcing his name and what have you, there was actually, because I remember beside me, there was an ex-employee who's retired, but he's got season tickets, so he always comes up and visit us. His name's Mike. And I turned around and looked at Mike and I was like, this is disgusting. I said, this is disgusting. This is their captain, and they're doing this. Why? I have no idea. I have my guesses, but I just felt it was gross. So I don't and then later on when I'm looking at social media, some people were actually, I don't know if they doctored the video, but I was there and listened to boos long enough to say, wow, this is.
Okay. Here's my question. Do you think, and I'm guessing that you had thought about this, do you really think that it was because Auston represented the United States or because Auston Matthews beat Canada? Because I'm thinking it's the latter. I'm thinking hockey fans are not overly buzzed out that he went to go visit Trump. I think those are maybe more so fans that are not are more so into the optics and the political landscape. They're not really into they're not into sports per se as much as they are in the everything, all the other side stuff that's going on. I really believe that it is Matthews beating Canada in the gold medal game, because if Matthews defeated Czechia, that there is going to be a round of applause.
I wish I could agree with you, but I've seen more than enough craziness in terms of politics with sports. And listen, our country we have a lot of Trump derangement syndrome in our country, right? Because we've been conditioned, well, not me, but, through media is, everything is Trump's fault. The plight of our country is because of it is. So this guy has threatened, Canada to be the 51st state, tongue in cheek, for how long? And so here he is, their captain, being front and center at the White House with the guy who's threatening to annex our country in their minds, right? I mean, the derangement is real, Randy. You can't deny that. But
sure, the derangement is real. I just don't think that.
I don't know for sure what 20,000 people are thinking. I'm not, I have no idea. But we got a pretty good preview at the Four Nations tournament with the amount of booing that was going on when the American anthem was, in Montreal was being played. So I can only go off of that, and I can only go off of some of the scrutiny they got for attending the White House, for attending the State of the Union address, when technically, Auston Matthews was supposed to have reported to the team, to the Maple Leafs, and I believe it was in Tampa. Yeah, I think they played Tampa the first game back.
Tampa or Miami.
So that's my opinion. What you're saying probably has some truth to it as well. But had they beat Czechia and he went to the White House still, and he went to the State of the Union still, I think there probably would have been the same result. Just my opinion.
Of course. And this is all about opinion.
Understanding the landscape and where we are, unfortunately, how political everything is now, I don't doubt it for a second.
But I think the loudest voices are the people who are the least educated. I mean, for all those people who think, Angel Reese should get the same amount of money as Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is absolutely ridiculous, because there's only 15 teams in the WNBA who play only 40 games, while the NBA has 30 teams with 82 games, and tickets are so much more expensive, and stadiums are twice the size of WNBA arenas for now, and in most cases. And those are the people who are crying the most about that particular issue. And with regards to sports altogether, and a whole whack of items that I don't need to get specific on, it's the people who just whine and cry and bitch about all of the shortcomings that they're experiencing, and they're only listening to one side of the story. And with Four Nations, I mean, I was right there with all those detractors, because Trump calling my country the 51st state, forget that sucks. And I'm not going to take a joke because you know what, I like this country. This country's pretty cool to me. Now, Kevin, with all due respect, I mean, whatever. But
so do I. So do I, Randy. But you're proving my point by being so agitated by it. Not understanding.
But why shouldn't I be?
Why shouldn't I be? The fact that this guy's a Class A troll and this is what he does.
Oh, come on! You know what? That's not acceptable for a president.
Kevin,
for the most powerful man in the country, that is so unacceptable. It's one thing, and Kevin, I'd love to hear your comment on this, because it's one thing that if he could dish it out as much as he could take it, but he can never take it. With all due respect, Kevin, to the president of your country. So, he could dish it out all the time. He could never take it. And when it came to the 51st state, that really pissed me off. Kevin, please go ahead.
No. So I get, both sides to it. living in USA myself, I'm not the biggest like Trump fan at all. I don't vote, so I don't really care about like any like the political nonsense. And like I heard about like the 51st state news and all that, and like absolutely, like I can see people of Canada getting like frustrated over those comments, and like and the other side, I'm like, oh, I think it should be good. I don't really like buy into that, like personally. I don't really care too much about it. Trump does say a lot of things, and he does let words come out of his mouth that like I think that he should just keep to himself. I will agree with you there. But at the same time, and like there's nothing really that I can do about it or change about it. So I'll leave that to like the people that need to be that. But like I completely understand, like the frustrations. At the same time, with Trump inviting Team USA to like the State of the Union and the White House and all that. Like I feel like that's like kind of like a tradition at that point, like because we've seen U.S. athletes get invited to the White House and all that. So I don't really have a problem with that. And to go back on the earlier point about like why the fans booed Auston Matthews the way that they did. My take on it is, and I think you're absolutely right, Randy. I think it's like people who just complain and whine and cry about all stuff like that. I think that's ultimately what it is. I think there's mad that like I feel like what it is. I feel like because he plays for a Canadian team like the Toronto Maple Leafs, and then he won with Team USA and beat Canada. I feel like maybe Canadian fans feel like oh, he betrayed Canada by beating us. He should have let Canada win so that, and then we would like respect him. Like I don't like that sentiment one bit. I think Tony's absolutely right. I think it's wrong to boo Auston Matthews, even though like he's on the other side and like your country didn't win. You have some decorum, have some respect, man. Believe me, if Canada won, I would have been like, good for Connor McDavid, good for Nathan McKinnon, good for Macklin Celebrini.
Absolutely,
like, that's cool.
Absolutely.
Like I don't get that whole sentiment about like that. So I understand both sides.
Well, not to intentionally have the last word on this. If you guys do have an additional comment, please by all means. But I think that with regards to like the emotion and the beauty of the Gaudreau kids celebrating on the ice and the Gaudreau family, and I think Canadian hockey fans really recognize what the Gaudreaus have been through since that unfortunate car accident, and we're really happy for USA for winning gold. Because of Johnny Gaudreau, number one. And number two, I really don't believe hockey fans are Canadian hockey fans, Leaf fans especially, are against Auston Matthews because he's an American. And quite frankly, when Cash Patel was getting loaded, I can't remember who he was. Was he partying with the American team? Where, like, I think it was incredible. I thought it was awesome. Like I distinctly remember, Tony, I'm doubting that you may remember this, but Stephen Harper, Kevin, was the former prime minister of our country, and he was born and raised in Western Canada, I think Alberta or something. He was clearly a Toronto Maple Leaf fan, but he did not want to admit it. Was even at a Leaf game, was cheering like no end when the Leafs scored. I think he was at a playoff game, but he didn't have that transparency, because the Leafs are so vilified anywhere else other than the Southern Ontario. But anyway, like I loved, and for somebody who's on the left, I loved seeing Cash Patel getting loaded after USA's win. Now, with all the American media and especially the left leading media who's criticizing Cash Patel. Well, surprise, surprise, because if it was a Democrat politician, they're going to say it's no big deal. And everybody on the right is going to say that he or she should be ashamed of themselves. That's how it goes. But anyway, like, I don't know if you guys have any additional comment on that, but we could certainly proceed. I mean, I think especially now, the pain of losing the gold medal has subsided. And I think Leaf fans especially, I think they've gotten over the betrayal, quote unquote, which is so far from the truth, that Auston Matthews did at the Olympics.
Mhm.
Yeah. By the way, it was a failed physical, Kevin. Sorry to get back to football.
No, I
was
even
a
wrote
failed
it too.
physical.
Yeah, in the chat. Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what? Let me add something quickly to that too, just to
Please.
give a benefit of the doubt, because it's probably not all Trump. I think there was a next level effort that Auston Matthews was perceived to have given during the Olympics that I think some Leaf fans would like to see come playoff time from him. Like there was some scuffles he got into after the whistle that people pointed out on social media and showed video of, and kind of like, my goodness, he never does this for us in the playoffs. So there was some of that too. To be fair, I'm not saying it was all because Trump derangement syndrome. There is some of that too. Just there was the feeling that he was giving a little bit more, I guess, for lack of a better term. Either way, you pay money, you can do what you want, boo what you want. I just thought it was a little too much.
Yeah. Well, and if the booing was more than the cheers, then that wasn't right. No, I do agree with that. Tony, well, we did talk about the Olympics before Sidney Crosby got injured, and lo and behold, he did. He missed a couple of games after the Olympics. He didn't play in the gold medal game. There is a rumor that he is thinking about coming back this weekend. How concerned are you? I mean, you did mention that Malkin is injured as well, but something tells me that Sid is rushing himself to get back onto the ice.
Well, Malkin is not injured unless you count mentally stupid and making a disgustingly stupid decision at the wrong time when you need him the most. He's suspended. He's got
okay. I didn't catch what was going on.
He got suspended for 5 games for a stupid stick swinging towards Rasmus Dahlin's head. And so tonight he's serving his 3rd, so he's got 2 games left. But I'm actually shocked, Randy, because you were so adamant about all these potential injuries that would happen that you never texted me and said, "I told you so."
No, I'm not one like that. Forget.
When Sid went down, I was waiting for it.
No, me.
I don't think Crosby. I don't think Crosby. Yeah, I don't think he'll rush. I think he has been skating, taking part of the morning skate, non-contact. He may be available early next week, but it's a grind. The Penguins have a gauntlet of a schedule coming up. Like I said, I mean, they're in Carolina tonight. They haven't won since 2018 there. Then Vegas, Colorado, Utah coming up. And Columbus is hot, and they're chasing their tail right now for a playoff spot. So, missing your 2 best players plus a couple of other important guys in the lower part of your lineup, I wouldn't be surprised if he was rushing. But, hey, it is what it is. You play the sport. This is why hockey players are awesome. They'll do whatever it takes to get on the ice. They'll go sacrifice themselves to play for their country. Basically, they're not NBA players, and hopefully, this is what the American public is seeing more of, and maybe there'll be a bump, in popularity for them, but I'm not concerned. Sid's an animal. He's a beast, and he'll be back in the lineup and helping the Penguins. I just hope he doesn't need to rush.
No, he doesn't need to rush. Honestly, as you were going there, Tony, I just wonder. I was just reminded of how stupid the NHL is, sacrificing all these players during the regular season. I mean, get this tournament in the summertime. Okay, I promise that's going to be the last time I ever say that. Well, that's where World Cup. Anyway, whatever. But I mean, and we will talk about the Penguins at the end of the show. But Kevin, I guess I am kind of intrigued. Obviously, you are a New Jersey guy and moved to Texas rather recently, and I'm always curious about what not only the hockey tournament and the Olympics, but what the Winter Olympics are like in the Southern U.S. You are in Houston. Houston does have AHL hockey. At least they did. Do they still have the Arrows?
No, the
They
Arrows
don't.
are not a thing anymore. They just have Dallas Stars.
Okay, they have the Dallas Stars, but there is the AHL team in Austin. But anyway, like, what is the pulse of the Winter Olympics where you are? I mean, does anybody notice? I mean, did you see people at the bars watching hockey by chance?
Not necessarily hockey, but more so like like snowboarding, the skiing. I saw people like really into curling this Winter Olympics. I think that's like the hottest new sport that people don't know about is curling. And I'm like, y'all don't know what curling is? I've been watching curling like every Winter Olympics. It's very fun to watch. Bobsledding, but like the gold medal games were definitely on both the U.S. men's and women's in the bars for sure. Not necessarily for the whole tournament, but like those other sports that I just mentioned were more so present. And like besides the hockey, again, I really got into curling, and of course, I always tune into snowboarding because I think snowboarding is one of the best events in Winter Olympics, in my personal opinion. But yeah, I mean, like it's still fine, especially in the bars. But as far as other than like the bigger games, not so much.
Hmm. Did you see any uptick in like t-shirts or jerseys maybe after USA got gold in both men's and women's?
Well, I don't know if you or Tony heard, but after USA won, people were trying to get Team USA hockey jerseys, and apparently Nike thought that, or they expected Canada to win, and they didn't manufacture enough Team USA hockey jerseys,
You're
so no one could buy
kidding.
any Team USA gear from them. So I thought that was crazy. Well, first of all, second of all, the fact that Nike expected Canada to win when they're an American company, I think is crazy, and to not make backups when you are a multi-billion-dollar company and not make Team USA or manufacturing Team USA merchandise, I think is absolutely crazy. Like you see, like in the World Series, they make gear for both teams, like regardless
Yep.
if they win or lose, and if one team loses, they just discard the gear that they made. And like, even though it might be a loss of profit,
They end up in Guatemala somewhere or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
like, I don't know why Nike couldn't make or manufacture or produce Team USA hockey jerseys. Like, that's insane to me. So yeah, obviously, like when Team USA won, everyone quickly wanted to buy a jersey, but they had no means to, because Nike, who makes all the jerseys, they didn't make them.
Well, I could tell you, and I know I've said this before on the podcast, that I worked at a sports retail store here when the Blue Jays made the playoffs with Tulowitzki and David Price on the Jays, and divisional merchandise and ALCS merchandise were made. And it was delivered to our store before the Jays clinched the division and made it to the ALCS. If we had broken the seal from the delivery, that store would have been fined $250,000. So,
wow.
yeah. So, I am very surprised that Nike didn't pre-make a few jerseys. And besides, like Kevin, if you remember, I personally thought that USA was the favorite myself. Like
You did, yeah.
maybe
I thought the opposite, yeah.
yeah, you did think the opposite, and God bless you for it. But yeah, no, it is too bad. And I mean, with the state of the NBA, they need to get their act together, and I think hockey could potentially breathe down their neck. That being said, do you guys think that more eyes are going to be on hockey for the rest of this season at least, and for next season as well? I mean, maybe that this season it's a foregone conclusion. Maybe we're going to see a little bit of a ratings bump. But let's say that they do have a solid marketing campaign throughout the summer, and maybe a hot market team wins the cup. Maybe a romantic city like Buffalo. I mean, I think a lot of Americans are hoping that the Bills would win the Super Bowl. Tony especially, but he doesn't count. But let's say that they win the Stanley Cup. Buffalo, I mean, they're just coming out like crazy. Maybe more Americans would get into hockey. Kevin, we'll start with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think hockey, like I said, it's going to be in good hands. I do expect an uptick in ratings some next year. And you mentioned the Buffalo Sabres. I'm still mad that guess who their head coach is? He used to be my head coach, Lindy Ruff, a few years ago when he took us to the playoffs. So and then we traded him for Sheldon Keefe, and no disrespect to Sheldon Keefe, but I thought that Lindy Ruff but I thought that Lindy Ruff had a better drive and a better, he had the locker room, had to control the locker room more than Sheldon Keefe currently has. And he took us to the playoffs. And Sheldon Keefe, I mean, in his first year, he wasn't good. I'll be completely honest. This year, I've been maybe he's decent. But right now, the Devils are what, 10, 11 points out of a playoff spot. And unless we go on a massive win streak, they're not going to make the playoffs this year. And I know, Jack Hughes' injury had a little bit to do with it. But even after he came back, I mean, the Devils are just simply not winning because they're not scoring. And they're making every opposing goalie look like the second coming of Martin Brodeur and Patrick Waugh because their lack of scoring. It's actually ridiculous. But I digress. Absolutely, I do think that more eyes are going to be on the NHL for the rest of the season. And the Buffalo Sabres, I might even suggest that they could verse the Lightning in the Eastern Conference playoffs finals this year. I think they're that good. I think they definitely have a nice Cinderella story going. And after they do make the playoffs, I'm not saying if, I'm saying when they make the playoffs, then only the New York Jets are going to have the longest playoff drought in all four of major sports. And so the Sabres are finally going to be out of the, playoff drought streak. And I think it's great. I think it's great for, the sport, a team you didn't really expect at the beginning of the year, like the Sabres, to do as well as they have. And I know they had a big 10-game win streak right before the break. And they've really carried it on right after that. We just saw that crazy game that they had against the Lightning. What was it, 16 goals, something like that?
Yeah, 8-7.
Yeah, 8-7 or so, and a bunch of fighting through that.
Bunch of fights.
I want to see a rematch of that, later down the line in the playoffs. But absolutely, I think the NHL is in great hands next season.
Tony?
Yeah, I think there will be a slight bump. I think they've turned some people on, and also the residuals that we don't see. You might see families put their kids into hockey more now. They might be more inclined to have their kids a part of that culture than a part of maybe some of the others that aren't as conducive to teamwork or team first mentality. I think hockey is the runaway leader in that department. But again, is it sustainable? And I always question that. I've been a hockey fan for forever, and so we haven't seen it sustained. But there are a lot of good players in the United States, to say the least. Just a lot of talent. The United States development program is almost second to none in terms of what they're doing. And a lot of these pockets in the American markets, where you have retired NHL players, like St. Louis, for instance. I don't know why, but a lot of people choose to stay there when their careers are done. And is that they've just developed a great minor hockey program there. It's where the Kachucks are from. And so that even Florida, places like Texas, they're starting to establish great minor hockey programs. So it's from that aspect, it's only going to get better. In terms of attention, we'll see. Well, let's hope. But that's all you can do.
Yeah, well, I think that they had the personality. I think the NHL on TNT, although I don't see it, it just seems that it has that engagement. And, of course, Don Cherry is a treasure here in Canada, but, he's just one guy, and he was a senior citizen. And, now he's, over 90. I mean, he's been out of the game for a while, but... Yeah, but with Paul Bissonnette and the Kachucks. I think that, and of course, USA winning that gold medal. I think that hockey is really doing a disservice by not showing that personality. Because, look, you see the back and forth and the banter between football and basketball players, and I think that's exactly what hockey needs. I mean, match the excitement level of the beautiful game. So I think if they could get that going and just appreciate that, kind of gamesmanship, I think hockey could really make a lot of strides in the U.S. We will talk about the trade deadline for a quick minute, just because there was some winners, some losers, and with our three respective teams, guys, I guess the most active maybe was the Toronto Maple Leafs for the wrong reasons. I guess, Kevin, was there any trades that you were hoping the Devils would make? Apologize for the curve ball question, but this was a disappointing year for New Jersey, and maybe like Toronto, they just need to hit the reset button for next year. But with Markstrom, Heischer, Luke and Jack, you have to think that there is some sort of foundation there. However, do you think that the Devils should have gone in and made, beyond Nick Bjugstad, do you think that there was some pieces that they could have gotten or could have gotten rid of? What is going on? Kevin,
Okay.
there we go. Gotcha. Sorry, Kevin, did you get my question there?
Yeah, it was cut off. Say it again.
Oh, okay. Just basically, were you hoping that the Devils were more active, or could they have looked at one position more than the other? Could they have gotten rid of somebody? What did you think?
I thought that the Devils, obviously my dream scenario would have been if they somehow got Quinn Hughes and landed, all three Hughes brothers on the same team. I thought that would have been pretty cool, but I'm like, that's never going to happen. Number one's because their cap issues, they weren't going to have enough money to get him anyway. But I would have loved to see Quinn Hughes be a New Jersey Devil. Again, other than the trading Palat for Bjugstad has been okay. And then a couple of minor moves, like they put Evgeny Dadonov, Luke Glendening, and Maxim Siplikov, who they just traded for from the Islanders. They put them all on waivers, and Glendening got picked up. I forget which team, but not really a lot that the Devils did there. I would have liked to see a strong defenseman picked up, because frankly, I think some of our defensive personnel could use an upgrade. Now, listen, Jonas Siegenthaler, I like him for his defense, but that's really all he's good for. His puck control is bad. His penalty killing is the only strength that he really has. He's not a goal scorer by any means. He's a pure defender through and through. He makes two strong passes. Whenever he does get the puck, he turns it over. I've seen it plenty of times. So I would have loved to see a Jonas Siegenthaler upgrade. Again, I would have liked to see maybe another guy who can score. I do like the young guys that we have, Cody Glass and Arseniy Gritsuk. I really like both of those guys because I think they provide a nice, young spark to the team, and they can score and they can do whatever you need to on the Jack Hughes line or the Heischer line. So I really like that. Oh, and also as a side note, while I was in New Jersey over the weekend, I did go and see that Devils game when they were hosting the Maple Leafs. And that was awesome because I haven't been to a Devils game in 14 years. The first time I ever went was 2012 when I was still living there, New Jersey, when my dad took me. And I went with my dad again this last weekend when we were there. And it was great. The game went into overtime, and then it went to a shootout. And the Devils won 2-0 in the shootout. I thought it was great. Sorry, Randy, for the loss of the Maple Leafs. But that was great. I tell everyone all the time, it's much different if you go watch a hockey game in person than watching it on TV. It's a completely different atmosphere. I recommend anyone, if you have a chance to go to a hockey game, go to it. It's just the Prudential Center was rocking. It was so much fun. As soon as I stepped into the arena, I was like, oh man, this brings back the memories, man. Because like I said,
how
it's been
long?
14 years.
How long have you been in Texas or away from?
I've been in
New
Texas.
Jersey?
I moved to Texas in 2013. So 2012 was the last time.
Okay.
Yeah, 2012 was the first time I saw any live sporting event. I saw it was the Bruins against the Devils. I went with my dad, and that was back in 2012 when they still had Martin Brodeur as their goalie. So I got to see him, and I got to see Patrick Elias and Travis Zajac. Remember those guys? I mean, and that was funny enough, that was the year they went to the Stanley Cup final, even though they lost to the Kings. That got me into hockey. I was a Devils fan ever since. My dad took me to that game, and then to go again all this time later and see them actually win. Because I remember the first time I went, they lost 5-4 to the Bruins, and this time they won in a shootout. And we got great seats too. It was right down on the ice, maybe right there, in the front. Yeah,
nice.
It was a good price too. And I was like, I'm jumping on this. I'm not gonna not go. And then I'm so glad I went, man. It was a great time.
No, good for you. Good for you. No, especially after such a long time, you haven't been to a game. And Tony, how about you? Very quickly, just with regards to obviously the Penguins made a big splash before the trade deadline. They picked up Stuart Skinner. He seems to have done a lot better now that he's out of Edmonton. Of course, now Edmonton has got the issue with Tristan Jarry. Now, I don't know a lot of people what they were expecting out of Pittsburgh this year, and now with everything going on with Crosby, how healthy is he going to be for the rest of the season? Of course, Malkin has old legs. Carlson, everybody else. What were your thoughts in the trade deadline front? Did you think that Pittsburgh could have done more, or did they do all they can?
Well, I'm sure they could have done more, but I'm glad they didn't. I think the Penguins won by not doing anything. Dubas they acquired some 6'8" guy in his early 20s, some Soderblom guy from Detroit.
Right.
He was struggling there. And look, Kyle Dubas made what has turned out to be a massive deal with Columbus, picking up Igor Chinnikov, who he can't stop scoring now. He's an absolute find, but he just wasn't meshing with the former head coach in Columbus now. So, it's about asset capital for the Penguins right now, and that's all that counts. And Kyle Dubas, I guess, smartly didn't get sucked into any kind of panic move, given the injuries and the suspension and the fact that their face-off percentage has decreased dramatically since Sid's been out, and it's been a huge problem for them. But like I said, he didn't press the panic button. As far as I'm concerned, Penguins fans should be happy and think they're winners because of that. Because this is not part of the plan. The future is the plan. Keep getting younger. Keep acquiring draft capital. They have a shit ton of draft picks over the next 3 years, especially within the first 3 rounds. And you shouldn't sacrifice that for anything at the moment.
Well, yeah, especially because their elite players are in the twilight of their career. If I could just take a moment and just mourn everything that's going on in Toronto. Scott Laughton, he goes to LA. He is starting to
can't stop scoring.
Can't stop scoring. Nicholas Waugh, he got a goal in his Colorado. They got a pick, first round pick, but it's for 27. Who knows what's going to happen with them? It's just an absolute mess. But I do have to think wishful thinking that if they do hit the number on a defenseman for the offseason, I think that Toronto may be okay. I'm into Joseph Wall. I think that he could be a legit number one. But I think a big winner was Colorado getting Nazem Kadri. I really liked the reception that he got. In his first game back as a member of the Avalanche. Of course, he won the Stanley Cup with Colorado, but he was only there after the trade deadline when Colorado won. And him back in Colorado, that might be interesting to see. Colorado's having such a great year. Could they put themselves that much over the top with Kadri there? Guys, why don't we make our way, talk a little World Baseball Classic, shall we? I don't know about you two, but I am really, really interested in everything going on with the World Baseball Classic. Kevin, what say you? I mean, USA has just an absolutely stacked roster. No surprises there. But World Baseball games are in Houston. I mean, are you making your way over there to see a game? And what's your interest level like?
Well, like I mentioned, when the World Baseball Classic started, that's when I did make the trip to New York and New Jersey, so I couldn't see the first few games in Houston. I did drive by whenever USA was playing Great Britain on the way back, and then I saw the game last night when they were versing Mexico. That was a great game because you got to remember the history with USA against Mexico is not really that good on the USA side. Mexico has pretty much been having USA's number in the World Baseball Classic for a good amount of time now. And I thought the ending of the game was really good. Overall, this tournament I was really pumped up for. I was switching channels between USA, Mexico, and the Cuba, Puerto Rico game was actually really good too. I really liked seeing that. And I like seeing some of the storylines too. I don't know if you heard about it, but I think it was on Czechia. There was this pitcher.
Yeah.
Who was like an electrician or something, and he pitched 4 shutout ball against Japan. I thought that was crazy, and I thought I think that's what WBC is about. It's storylines like that. And when Brazil, I think, versus the U.S., a 17-year-old kid from Brazil, one of the pitchers, got judged to ground into a double play. That's a great story too. So the World Baseball Classic is off to a good start. I think USA is versing Italy as we speak right now. So I'm going to tune into that as soon as this is over. But I've been loving the WBC. I always look forward to it every 4 years. There's a reason why tournaments like these, that come once every 4 years, especially the Olympics and stuff like that, are so very special.
Yeah, and the Czech electrician Andrzej Satoria, I probably butchered his name, but he got a standing ovation at the Tokyo Dome. As you said, shutting out Japan for the 4.5 innings. And it was funny, as I was researching for today, the Brazilian kid, as all these players are showed their affiliation and the team that they're on, New York Yankees, Lancaster Lugnuts, and so on. And it showed the kid's high school that he was a part of the Brazilian pitcher. It was I mean, that kind of pressure at 17 years old to face Aaron Judge and for him to ground out in that double play is just incredible. Tony, how about you, man? I mean, we have, of course, here in Toronto, have had a real uptick in interest with baseball, especially with the World Series that just happened. Are you into the World Baseball Classic at all? And what do you think so far?
To be honest, I haven't been, so I apologize. I'm coming in.
No, it's all good.
I'm coming in this a little. Now, what I do, I'm still watching highlights. I'm still, it's in the background sometimes. What I do
any reason why, Tony? I mean, any reason why it doesn't tickle your fancy?
It's not enough time. It's not that it doesn't tickle my fancy. It's just I can't keep up with everything that's going on. We just finished the Olympics. I'm into soccer, and it's just that there's not enough time to keep up with everything. Really, that's what it is. Constantly out and about. But I'll say this: two things that pop out is the overwhelming enthusiasm by the players and how much they're into it. That's really cool. I'm appreciating that. And the home run celebration for the Italian team, I noticed, is they've got an espresso maker in the dugout.
Yeah.
And once somebody hits a homer, they pop that shit, and you're taking a swing of it when you get back. That's all I needed to know. That's all I needed to see to appreciate the World Baseball Classic. But other than that, sorry, I haven't been able to follow it that much.
Yeah, no, and it definitely is all good. And Kevin, kind of a serious question too. And how the hell do you Americans do it with the pro sports and NCAA and everything else? I'll never forget when the Jays were in the World Series and going to a Leaf game, and then there's a Raptor game. I mean, there's only 3 sports here, but that takes a lot out of me, and it is nothing compared to everything that's going on in the US. Like, how in the world do you guys do it? And I'm being serious.
A lot of energy, a lot of Red Bulls and stuff like that to get a lot of coffee. But to be serious, I don't know. I feel like it's just like the passion that like one has, and like the having the ability, the expenses to go to all these games, back and forth, depending on how much you really like the game. Like I remember, I think once I went to, and this is like light compared to like most people. I went to a Rockets game, and then after that, I went to an Astros game in the same day, and because the Rockets was taking place like in the beginning of the day, and then I finished,
Sure.
and then went straight to Minute Maid Park. It was still called Minute Maid Park at the time. Now it's called Dyken Park, and then I did that, and like even that, like you said, it does take a toll on you physically, like throughout the entire day. But like even I don't know how like other like really passionate sports fans do it. Like go to like 3-4 games in one day. I'm like, dude, how? You gotta plan a whole day for that. Like, what game is gonna start at like 7 a.m, and then what's your morning routine? What's your morning game and what's your night game? Like, I need to know the like specific schedule wise and like how you're gonna do this. It's got to be something like that because it's a big thing for like NFL games and that happens like at noon here, so I can get that. Maybe it's like, watch 2 games live here, then go back to my boy's house and watch the basketball game tonight. I mean, like it's kind of one of those things. I mean, like I've rarely see most people go to more than 2 games in one day. To the people who go more to 2 games in one day, I mean, like that's crazy in my opinion. Like, you gotta have a lot planned out. Yeah.
Yeah. No, right on. So I don't know if there is anybody. Actually, I do have a little something to show you guys, and have a list of the the makeup of each of the rosters, and obviously the U.S. is leading the way with the majority of which are major league talent, and Dominican is shortly behind. Tony, I have to say, I'm a little surprised that Canada, I mean, yeah, sure, 14 major league players on their roster is fine, but with a guy like James Paxton who's on the roster, he hasn't played in a couple of years. He's 37 years old, and basically he's agreed to play just because he wants to represent Canada. I mean, that's nice, but it's a little disappointing to see that someone like Paxton, there's a guy who's a full-time farmer who made the team as well for our country. And I'm a little, like I said, surprised that Canada is not able to fill out a full roster. Is this a surprise to you?
A little bit, but who is there anybody who's supposed to be there that's not there that you know of?
Well, Freddie Freeman, and
that's right.
I mean, he's been playing 2 World Series in a row. He's representing Canada. I think the last 3 World Series, World Baseball Classics. So I'm sure that there's another 1 or 2 off the top of my, like a couple of pitchers. But Freeman, I think, is the big,
Yeah, big guys.
the big one. Yeah.
Yeah, I expected to see some more, but I haven't been. Again, I'll be honest with you. I haven't been up to date on Canadian prospects in baseball enough to know. But yeah, looks like a low number.
Yeah. Yeah, Kevin, how about you? Was there anybody that you were hoping to see? Is there anybody missing, I guess, from USA that you may have noticed and would have wanted to have been there, or just in general?
As far as USA goes, obviously the big one is Mike Trout. He's not participating in this year's World Baseball Classic like he was on the last time. And I think that's because I know that for WBC to be eligible, you have to have this insurance or something like that, and you have to apply and be eligible. And Mike Trout wasn't. Very unfortunate. I would have loved to see him on this team. In terms of other players, Jose Ramirez is another one that stands out to me that's not participating in here. Would have loved to see him because, as we know, Jose Ramirez is a star in the MLB. He's been consistently great in every single year. And I think he would have been only adding more firepower to a Dominican Republic team who I feel could be definitely one of the last teams standing after this whole tournament is said and done over with. I think it's going to be either USA, Japan, or Dominican Republic. And I would have loved to see J-Ram on a DR team that I think is already loaded with talent. So definitely Trout and J-Ram for sure.
Yeah, what is the dream matchup? I mean, I think all of us remember vividly the Ohtani Mike Trout matchup. Maybe that was the springboard to more and more American players, especially participating in the World Baseball Classic, because there was this recognition of playing for your country. And in terms of potentially who the U.S., for example, or maybe it's 2 Latin American teams, is there teams that you guys want to see play in the final?
Me personally, I would love to see Shohei against Judge. I want to see, just like how Ohtani pitched to Trout in the last at bat in the previous WBC, I want to see Ohtani pitch to Judge and see how Judge fares against Ohtani this time around. I would love to see that, USA and Japan in the final. But I could easily see, like I said, this Dominican Republic team I think is for real. If you look at their roster, it's stacked. Even without the addition of Jose Ramirez, I think the Dominican Republic can definitely give a USA and Japan a run for further money. Mexico is very tricky too. Puerto Rico and Venezuela are still lurking. They're very tricky as well. But I think that USA, Japan, Ohtani against Judge, I mean, I feel like that's like the dream scenario in my eyes. I don't know about you guys, but that's who I would want.
I would love to see Dominican Republic in the final against the U.S. Sure, but it seems like the DR team has a lot of energy and they have a lot of fun while they're playing. So I think it would be cool to watch them just having a blast out there.
I got to tell you, I saw USA Venezuela in Toronto for the 2009 World Baseball Classic, and the moment the game started, the Venezuelans just absolutely partied. They got the drums going, and it was so intense. There was only 12,000 fans, which was a real shame. But it'd be interesting to see what Rogers Center would be, how many people would go to Rogers Center if USA Venezuela played this time around, let alone Canada. But I mean, just the Latin American influence and the appetite in the stands is just absolutely awesome. I mean, take your pick between USA, Dominican Republic, and Venezuela. I think it would just be absolutely awesome. Must see TV for sure. Fellas, why don't well, I guess in terms of prediction, I think it'd be hard not to choose the US, but and I guess we did tackle like who could potentially win. Why don't we just make our way to Straight Facts Pro or Lab? Final segment of the show. And I just need to get my notes for a second. And, Tony, before we do get into the actual meat and potatoes, we obviously had a great chat between, the U.S. hockey team and the going to the White House and everything like that. And, of course, Tony, between me and Tony, if I had to be like between woke and a critic of woke, I guess I would be on the woke side, at least more so than Tony. But the Atlanta Hawks, they had a promotion in place that would really tickle the line, toe the line, and they were about to have a promotion night where they were going to acknowledge a strip joint in Atlanta. And the outcry started with Luke Cornett, who is, I think, from the Charlotte Hornets, and he was
Spurs.
Spurs. Thank you very much. And then it continued with Al Horford. And there was a couple of comments that I do want to actually play for you guys. I'm going to start with Draymond Green. And I didn't know, it's a 3-minute clip, and I didn't know where to actually cut it off. But I think I don't have any other choice but just to play the entire clip, because to me, it is that outrageous.
And the reason I object, as a man with a wife, as a man with daughters, as a man with sisters, and as a man with an amazing mother and an amazing grandmother and incredible aunts and nieces, Magic City is an establishment that was built by Mr. Magic, a business that he has had for over 30 years now, extreme success, with an option for females to work there. To point to protecting women or their esteem, you also have an option to go to that establishment. And people have been making that choice for 30 years, from the workers to the customers, making that choice for 30 years. I think to point out that they have esteem issues because that's the line of work they chose, I actually think is less protective of women, because you're condemning something as if it's actually an art. Like, I don't know if you've ever been, but like if you see it in action, it's actually a form of art that some choose to indulge in and some choose not to indulge in.
I think I'm going to cut it off from there. I mean, look, Tony, I know that you and I go back and forth with the whole wokeism thing, but tell me that you were in support of this promotion by the Atlanta Hawks.
That's got nothing to do with woke and everything to do with stupidity. Just an idiot who can't put together a sentence. But the crazy thing is that he prefaced his little preamble before making, the point, was mentioning his daughters, his wife, his mother, his grandmother, his sisters. I guarantee you he would want none of them, especially his daughters, to be in that line of work. I get that the NBA is connected with certain culture. There's, the rap culture, the gang culture, and of course the stripper culture. A lot of babies get made between NBA players and these strippers. Some of them get to know who their father is, sometimes, without, money being passed around. But I think there's a time and place for everything. Like, I'm not here to judge. I've been to one before. I was never a fan of them, but we've all been to them, obviously. I'm not saying ban them. And yes, there is a stigma attached to it because the reality is most women don't choose this line of work. Most of those ladies don't want to be there. That's just the bottom line. More of them don't choose to be there than more of them who do choose to be there. And it is just such an ignorant statement from Draymond Green and so disrespectful. And again, he prefaced the statement by mentioning all the ladies in his life, which was just insane to me. You know, it's like, just nuts. But there's a time and place for everything, and bringing, honoring a strip joint in an arena where there's probably going to be kids there. Because, I work at the Scotiabank Arena, guys, and yeah, there's a lot of kids who go to basketball games, a lot of families, and just having to sit there with your young child and explain to them what they have on the scoreboard. I mean, were they going to bring pole dancers on the court too at halftime?
That's exactly the thing. How are you going to, honor a strip joint without having some sort of dancing involved?
There is a time and place for everything. Like I said, just to bring that out into it. And I'm actually surprised but relieved that Adam Paper Mache Silver decided to make this decision and ban it, because usually he's just, he is so weakened and he's at the mercy of the players. I'm glad they made this decision. It's just, just everybody go to the strip joint after the game and honor it in that fashion. But to bring it to the arena, I don't know. It's crazy. And like I said, this is not me judging. Go to a strip joint all you want. Have your fun. I get it. I'm not a fuddy-duddy from that aspect. But to try and paint this thing like, it's Baryshnikov dancing, or even like a choreographed pop star, just to compare that and call it art, and to say that my God,
Yeah,
I'm sure there's a million other places these women would want to be than having to do what they're doing. And I sure as hell, I have daughters, Draymond Green, and there's no fucking chance I want them doing that job.
Yeah, Kev, I'm not going to ask if you're a fan of the arts or not, but any comments on the Atlanta Hawks and how in the world that they could even try and go ahead with this promotion?
Yeah, when you first showed this to me, I didn't know what it was about, so I did my research on it, and absolutely, I mean, this was it was the right call to cancel this.
Truthfully, I'm surprised. I'm surprised you didn't hear about this, to tell you the truth.
No, I mean, I haven't, and until you told me about it, and I read about it, and yes, I think it was the right call canceling it. Now, I did read what they were going to do. They were going to have the rapper T.I. perform some songs. They were going to sell some lemon pepper wings in in honor of a rapper named Lemon, whatever. And then that would have been it. And there wouldn't have been no dancers at all. But you're still promoting a strip club at a basketball game. Like Tony said, where there are going to be children and kids and families attending that. And then what if a kid says, hey, Mom, Dad, what's Magic City? And then oh, it's nothing, son. And then later on in life, whenever they grow up and they're going to research what Magic City was, I'm like, oh, why the heck did they do this? And it's not, again, like Tony said, there's a time and place for things like that. And again, I don't judge either. If you wanted to go to a strip club like that, by all means, go ahead and have fun. I don't care. But trying to promote that at a basketball game, I think is absolutely I guess not egregious isn't the word I'm looking for. I think it's
just
very
incredible.
It's very distasteful, I think.
I mean, I don't even think distasteful is the word. I think it's just absolute idiocy. Look, this has nothing to do with who should or should not be going to, whether you do or do not go to strip joints. It's just simply bringing this atmosphere to a family event. I mean, that's why little children are able to go and to, and especially with those who were in support of this event, just absolutely blew my mind. There's this, I don't know if you guys know Killer Mike. I don't know any of his rap music, but I did see him on the Bill Maher show. He does seem to be Democratic leaning, but, there were a couple of things that he acknowledged and supported on the Republican side. And when taking to Horford and Cornette, so you come to Atlanta and they say they like girls and the chicken wings, and the city doesn't have a problem with it. Shut the F up. I think he was talking to about Cornette. This is again Killer Mike. Al Horford, we never effed with you anyway. We don't F with Luke Cornette. Luke, you should stay in San Antonio and concern himself with San Antonio business. So the fact that he's not in the Atlanta area, he should not comment on the Atlanta economic infrastructure there. And I mean, this is not the first time I heard about the chicken wings at this Peeler bar, but I mean, come on, I'm just completely speechless that this billion-dollar organization had the thought that this was going to be okay. I couldn't believe it. Anyway, you got to wonder if they're going to have any more insane promos, not even for the Atlanta Hawks, but going forward in pro sports. Can't wait to see it. Back to Straight Facts, Bro Relax. Tony, I don't know if it was really tongue-in-cheek with regards to Kyle Dubas, but, he really didn't have much of a success here in Toronto, and who knows? I guess the jury's still out on if he is going to have a successful time in Pittsburgh, but he does seem to be making a decent splash so far, and nobody expected Pittsburgh to be in the top half of the division there in the Metro. And is this a sign of things could they hang on, and could there potentially be another run? And is Kyle Dubas the reason why? Tony, Kyle Dubas will be recognized as the top GM this year in the National Hockey League. Straight facts, bro. Relax.
I think it could potentially be straight facts. They obviously need to make the playoffs, but I'm not going to judge Kyle Dubas for any results that happen this year. Like I said, this is about him planning down the road for life after Sid, life after Gino, life after Letang. That's pretty much what he needs to concern himself with right now. So there's a chance, like I said, if they make the playoffs, but right now they're down 4-2 and Columbus is winning. So there's another 2 points dropped. So it's going to be a tough down the stretch, but I'm not judging Kyle Dubas on the results of the Penguins this year. I want to see them make the playoffs, but I think the priority, if you're truly a fan of the team, is you want to see sustainable success. I mean, this era of the Penguins have had their run, they've had their fun. I don't think there's another Stanley Cup in them, to be honest with you, unless some of these young guys who have been implemented into the lineup just knock everybody's socks off and go nuts. But they've got flaws in the lineup still. So kind of straight facts. Who knows? I mean,
I think it. Yeah. Sorry. Please go ahead.
No. Yeah. I'm just. It's not a concern for me.
I think it'd be an absolute miracle, quite frankly, if he can overcome the loss of Letang, Malkin, Crosby, and refill it with championship success after those guys are done. I know Lemieux was replaced with Crosby, but if they could overhaul that when those guys ride off into the sunset and with stars of the future, that would just be incredible. Kevin, I gotta say, I think hockey fans are just so impressed with the Buffalo Sabres. I mean, who would have thought that this team was going to have the run that they're having? I think they're on some absolute nuts heater right now, and they're in the tops of the Eastern Conference. They're a couple of points behind Carolina. And but I mean, it's Buffalo. I mean, yeah, sure, they had the run all those years ago in '99, but there isn't really been that hockey winning culture in Buffalo. And are they going to find themselves in a position, say, like the Kansas City Royals, where they had that incredible World Series stretch there in, what was it, 14 and 15, but then they fell back down in the years afterwards? Could the same thing happen with a team like the Buffalo Sabres? Kevin, the Buffalo Sabres will implode their team after rather than being a consistent Stanley Cup winning threat. Straight facts, bro. Relax.
For now, I'll say, bro, relax, because you mentioned the great season that Buffalo is on, and they're not known for having a winning culture. I mean, you got to start somewhere, right? And hopefully this season can be a jump start to having consistent winning seasons going forward. Because if anything, after whatever the result of this year is going to bring, you would think that would actually encourage the Buffalo Sabres, front office, the team organization as a whole to improve and continue to work towards continuing to be a consistently a winning team. So that's pending. So for now, I'll say, bro, relax. But I could see a scenario like you mentioned where the Sabres don't develop correctly and don't use this success that they're having this season, and can they translate that into next season and the seasons to come? That's pending. But if they do that, absolutely, I can see them being a consistently winning team. But I've got to see how the rest of the season unfolds first, and if they do make the playoffs, which I think they're going to do, and to see how far are they going to get, if at all. But that's still pending. So for now, I'll say, bro, relax.
I mean, whatever the Pagula family is, they do seem really keen on building winners. And unlike, say, the ownership of the Royals and the Pittsburgh Pirates, whatever they're going to do with Paul Skeens. And who's this other kid, Connor? I heard that there's another kid in Pittsburgh's organization that's an absolute stud as well. And it'd be cool to see Buffalo win a championship. But I think me, and I guess Tony as well, want the other Buffalo team to win first.
Right.
Guys, thank you so much as always. Really appreciate it. Let's have a good week. Let's hope for some good weather. Tony, we'll see you at BMO Field.
Yes. See you. Take care, Kevin.
See you guys.
For Tony Antoniou and Kevin Zeliskovics, I'm Randy Courret. This is Voice of the Fans Canada. Hope you're doing well and keeping safe. We will talk to you next time.